go ahead and kick this off. So welcome everyone. We are here with the members of Team USA Sport Kite Team, and we're here for kind of like an after action chat and to send a big thanks to our sponsors and supporters. Our sponsors being Our Sky Events, Prism Kites, Great American Kites, Quad Squad Northwest, Goodwinds.com, Level 1 Kites USA, Waddy Works, Kite Forge, Canvas Kite Designs, Focus Kite Designs, Kite Connection, Holland Kite Team, and Sky Shark Tubes. Those are all of our corporate sponsors, and a big shout out to all of them. They really made everything that we did possible going over there. And it didn't end with the event. There is more coming from Team USA over the next few months. We're releasing that here shortly, but we also did have the t-shirt fundraiser, which not only did we sell several t-shirts, but we got a lot of private donations through that. So a big shout out to all of our supporters. I know some of them were friends and family, but we did actually have quite a few folks from the kite community just reach out and say, hey, how can I donate money to the fund? So yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the conversation to our flyers to kind of give a shout out or to talk about the event. So let's go ahead and start with Team USA Sport Kite Team's captain and co-captain. So Paul, would you care to start off, and then we'll have Waddy hop in?
Sure, absolutely, and we're both co-captains, by the way. Waddy and I, equal division of labor on that one.
But technically, Paul's captain.
Technically, you're right. Practically, not so much, right? Yeah, I mean, man, it's still. We've been back now for We've been back now for a little bit. A couple of us spent some extra time in Europe. So for myself, for Spence, for Nick, we've just been back for a few days. So we're still very much unpacking, both mentally as well as physically. It was an amazing trip. I've done many trips throughout many years, and this is one of those really big ones. This is one of those amazing ones. And before I get to the thank yous to the sponsors, I just wanted to, and I've said this to the team privately already in our on-site debrief. This is the first time that I was in a managerial role, a logistically managerial role. And normally I go to a kite event, I do my thing. I'm a solo flyer too. I'm not even a team flyer. I do my thing and I go home again. And this was just so much more of a complete experience that yeah, it was beautiful. We came together as a team wonderfully well. And it's sad to be home again after what's essentially been a 4-month-long project with the culmination in France there for a week, and to have all that prep come together, or mostly come together. It's amazing. We flew against with people, to pairs, teams, individuals that have been either flying 100 competitions or have been flying together for so long, and we got in there and showed well. We had numerous remarks from other countries' flyers and part of the organization how well we represented. I have this on paper even. Don't believe me, I have it all on paper. How coherent we looked, how cohesive we looked, how much fun as a team, but also how professionally we looked, and how supportive of each other we looked. We looked like a team, regardless of where we ended up, which turned out to be 4th place. But we looked like a team. We looked like we were working for each other, and that's what I'm super proud of in this group. And this is a sort of cohesion that I've probably not seen before. And I've been doing this for about 30 years. So super cool. And yeah, the sponsors were amazing. We thanks to sportkite.org, who was also on the sponsor list. Nick, who did most of the legwork there, corralling all the sponsors. That's mostly money. Uh, just it made our life so easy. It allowed us to buy the clothes. It allowed us to buy train tickets when we otherwise would have had to wait for 9 hours at the airport waiting for a shuttle that we just missed because of a delayed flight with 5 people. So things like that, radios for communication on the field in the teams. I mean, we wouldn't have had the experience we did if it wasn't for the sponsors. I think it's that simple. Nick already ran a list of the sponsors, so I'm not going to do that. I will want to say one anecdotal thank you, Dave Shankman, for your kind donation. I would have hoped that that we would have never used it. I wanted your donation to remain unused, and unfortunately we had to use it. You kindly donated 300-pound Laser Pro gold lines, and unfortunately we needed them in the high winds. So, but fortunately we had them. So I thought that was an interesting one to mention. Sky Shark Skyburner tubes. Thank goodness we didn't need your donation. We didn't do a stick. So those are the two I think that I wanted to mention here. And yeah, let's have the other co-captain, Spence.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, as far as kind of general experience goes, yeah, I can echo some of Paul's sentiment there around sort of the team leadership portion and stuff like that. You know, I've been in teams and traveled with teams and that sort of thing before. So there's certainly some of that I've been familiar with, but never really. And even on my team, I'm a team captain of that, but the way that my team functions is more. This is the Kite Collective. We function more loosely. I think I'm really only captain when we're on the field. That like literally flying. That's really the only time. So it's never really like, yeah, it's different. But this is much more like total like interpersonal kind of leadership and communication and that sort of thing. And I haven't done a whole lot of that in sort of the kiting space, at least. I've done some at work. And so to me, some of the comments that Paul mentioned from the flyers in the organization about sort of the attitude of the team and all that kind of stuff, that's probably the more valuable part to me from all of this, was seeing like, oh, we were able to get these people together, some of whom have like never even met each other and like stuff like that, and come out on the beach and be that cohesive. You know, it's not entirely Paul and I. There's a lot to be said for the people that are here doing that themselves. But it certainly feels good to know that Paul and I were here to be able to facilitate that and do what little bits we could to get us to that place. So yeah, the results are great. I like that. And as far as the competition goes, yeah, very much enjoyed that. I haven't done competition in years now because there hasn't been any in the US, so it's been a long time. It felt good to be back in that space a little bit and feel that drive of kind of looking at what other people are doing and kind of feeling that bring out the best in myself. You know, like when I did my individual competition, flying quadline kite to Breeze, it's probably about the best I've ever flown that song, I think. You know, there's something about sort of the pressure and the wanting to show off for the people that are there that I admire. You know, that kind of brings out the best. And yeah, definitely had that feeling and feel more about things in the future, hopefully to be able to maybe do more competition in the future at some point and dive in a bit deeper, because I think a lot of times on the individual comp, I would have liked to place higher, of course. I was fourth, tied with England. I did, however, have the highest technical score, so I'm pleased with. I'm technically the best, I think. But anyway, but I think what that kind of highlights to me, right, is the lower portion was the art side, the choreography, the musical interpretation, that sort of thing. And so that's an area that I could definitely pay a lot of focus in. I think even competing in the US historically, I think I skated a lot through on technical skill alone, in that I could fly to pretty much anything and beat almost everybody most of the time in my comps in the US. So having that moment where that wasn't enough, and I'm like, oh, I need to actually like, I should have put in some actual effort here in prep of like the routine and stuff, and think about music selection a little more critically and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely a little humbling, and shows me where I can do more, which is always nice. Granted, in this case, that wasn't really my focus. The quad line individual is mostly focused on the dual line pair because that was a newer experience for me. And yeah, and that was a lot of fun too. I'm really pleased at how we were able to build that routine, and yeah, I was really happy with that, and also happy with how the kites behaved for the most part, and that these are not kites that are intended for like team pair use. They're trick kites. I like them, but you know, it's yeah, untreaded ground to some extent, with those kites, and especially because the vented ones were like I just like fucking threw vents on these things. So like, so it's kind of untested and kind of new. So and I'm pleased with how that turned out. Yeah, so I think those are my big takeaways. As far as sponsors go, well, I just mentioned the kites, so I guess I'll mention Waddy Works. That's me. I made the kites, so I guess there's that. But otherwise, you know, Prism Kites was another great one. We came in with matching Prism roll-up bags. That's pretty cool. I have to admit, I carry so much goddamn stuff that I broke the buckle on mine. But the benefit is that I appreciate the craftsmanship of the bag, and that the buckle was installed in such a way that it was really easy to seam rip out and change to a whole metal buckle. Because it could have been really easy for it to be made in a way that would make that much more of a pain. But I replaced the buckles in like 20 minutes, like literally on my lunch break. So it was like, it was not bad. But yeah, so appreciate all of that. Appreciate the bags. I think that, you know, little things like that kind of help with the cohesiveness, right? We're all got the same gear. We got the same kite bags. We're like, you know, that all kind of helps give that perception of cohesiveness, but I think also gives that perception internally, right? Where we feel more cohesive. And that kind of helps, you know, snowballs all of that in a sense. So I think that part was really cool too. Yeah, I think I probably talked too long, but that'll be it.
It's good.
That's okay, Waddy. I was going to cede minutes to you. So.
Oh, shit.
But, you know, I still have stuff to say, but yeah. All right. Yeah, so the biggest thing for me, so first of all, you know, Lindsay and I were out on our own on a beach practicing, and, you know, it was really cold a lot of the times. We were out there January, February, March, and we're just so focused on that. And it felt like, okay, I'm just supposed to, you know, focus on my part here and do a good job here and bring that. And then also, you know, we had to obviously learn Brett's routine from afar, which was really hard, but we did our very best on that. So going into it, it's like, here's my part. This is what I'm going to France for. I have these 3 minutes and 9 seconds and these 3 minutes and 47 seconds to fly. And I was focused on that. And it just blew me away the way that we came together as a team. I didn't expect it. I mean, I should have expected it, but it was more than I ever expected. I expected we'd come together as a team, sure, but it was just so much more, and I can't even explain it, so I'm not gonna. We know what it was like, so that's as much as I'll say there. But yeah, it was just such an incredible experience, and I felt just so fortunate to have been picked I thought a lot about people back home, especially those of you that did sponsor us, and those of you that didn't, that's okay too. But I thought about everybody back home and like wanting to be worthy of Team USA. You know, I'm showing up and saying, "Hey, I'm world class and I'm representing the USA." So there are probably a lot of people out there, good kite flyers, that wondered, like, well, why you? So I didn't have imposter syndrome. I did feel like, okay, I'm up to this, but I did think a lot about everybody back home. And I absolutely appreciate their support. I appreciate all the people that tuned in when Nick was throwing out podcasts and we didn't know what was going on. We barely had internet connection, you know, but there were people back home that when she went on live and it was 3 a.m. in Portland, there were people saying like, yeah, I'm here, I'm watching. So that was really, really cool to just know that all these people were back home, like rooting for us. So, and then also, of course, the sponsors that, you know, threw cash down to keep us warm. I really appreciated that so very much because it was freaking cold. I mean, we didn't get a lot of chance to wear our t-shirts, unfortunately, because it was so freaking cold, like every day. So it's like we had our vests and then we had our hats, and I often had to wear the other hat, the fleece hat, also just to stay warm. And then we had our jackets. So we were so well equipped. So thank you, sponsors, for keeping us warm because cold kite flyers don't perform very well. So, and like Paul said, like filling in the gaps, like, you know, hey, we got to take a train or else we got to sleep on the airport floor for a while and then get picked up at, you know, midnight France time and then have to fly again like in a few hours after that. I don't know how that first day would have gone. So, but it, you know, came to it. It's like, well, train tickets, I don't know, they're expensive. I don't know. Should we do it? Should we not? And here's Nick saying, you know what? We have a little extra money. We can afford this. It's like, thank goodness. So that saved our butts right there. I want to do a special thank you to Quad Squad Northwest. That's my team. All right. And I so appreciate you guys getting together and putting down money to get us to France. I mean, we were going to get there. We had most of our plane tickets paid for, right? And we had, you know, we had a lot of things paid for, but there were all these little things that were not paid for. Like, yeah, like you mentioned, Paul, we needed radios. I don't know how we would have done that. Brett, I don't think you can yell loud enough over that music. So heck, we needed radios. And we had to have the right kind of radios. Just so you know, the radios that we normally use are not allowed in France. Like we could interrupt somebody who's like trying to, you know, an ambulance worker. All right. So we didn't want to do that. So we got the right kind of radios. So that was our sponsors that filled in all those little gaps so that we didn't have to say, oh gosh, I'm really stretched thin and I don't know if I can afford that. Well, Nick says, you know what? We can. We have money. So appreciate that. I appreciate Kite Forge for donating because that was when Lindsay and I flew, we had a lot of wind. I don't know how much wind, but it was a lot of wind and we had the right kites for it. We had the hardcores. And I don't know, it would have been a lot harder with anything other than what we had. So some of the teams did not have kites with enough vents, but we did. So that saved our butts. Yeah. Let's see. That's probably, I said I was going to cede time, so I should probably stop talking and let some other people talk. Oh, the bags. I got to say about the bags though. I've never used a roller bag. I've been doing kiting since 2006. I'm on my third like regular duffel and I have my system. And every time I look at a roller bag, I'm like, yeah, I don't think no, I don't think so. So I've never had a roller bag. And here came this roller bag. And I was like, well, I guess I'll use it this time. I don't know if I'll use it for, no, I'm completely won over. And thank you to Prism Kites for providing those bags for us. They're amazing. I always take my bag on the plane. I never ever check it. The one time I did, it got lost for a while. It was very terrifying. But I always try to make it real nice and small. And I did that. I took out the second roller part that can go inside, that can be detached. I took that out, put it in my suitcase. So I had this little tiny thing. And you know, the flight attendants were just like, oh yeah, no problem. They didn't even look twice at it. So yeah, that's really nice being able to roll it up so tight and just have this nice little package clearly labeled and put it in a closet. So love the rolled bag. Thank you, Prism Kites. Say to. I learned something, man.
I'm gonna talk a lot, so you should probably bump me to the back.
Okay. Lindsay?
Um, yeah, just really big thank you to all of the sponsors for, making all those little things available to us because, flying kites and what we do doesn't really pay the bills. So, having that extra money there for radios and for keeping us warm, and, having team jackets so that we look like a real team. And, that was clutch. And just an amazing experience. I'm so thankful that I got to go and learn as much as I did because I feel like I've taken so much away from this experience and it, wouldn't have gone as smoothly and just things went better, with the train tickets and stuff, the lack of sleep and the jet lag on that first day, and then being able to take a train instead of, getting back to our house at 2:30 in the morning or something, and then having to be back out on the field at 9:30 for a flyers meeting. It's just, it made life so much easier that, just big thank yous. And to all the people that bought t-shirts, thank you for your support because it really means a lot to us. We're going to put on the best show that, we could do. And I think we really succeeded in doing that and came out quite well in our placement for, considering that we're competing against teams, that have been flying together for like 20 years and they have, tons of time to practice and they've been doing this for so long. And, with very little practice and, especially the team quad fly, I mean, we came together from like 2,000 miles apart and put this routine together. And with very little practice, we brought it out there and, we had it looking really, really good. And, it's unfortunate that we had absolutely terrible wind on the day we actually competed with it. But, just being able to take that little bit of time that we had and come together as well as we did was really amazing. And, the whole team, people felt the vibe on Team USA across the whole field. And I honestly think that Team USA had more fun than any other team that was out there for that entire competition because we got along great. There was no infighting. We all just had a really good time. And, thank you to the rest of the members of the team for being so awesome. I love you all. And yeah.
All right.
Again.
Crystal?
Hey, so yeah, I guess we'll start off with the sponsors. Thank you so much to everybody. The shirts, I know I got a couple. They turned out really nice. So I really hope everybody enjoyed them. And yeah, I was really worried about the team because they did miss the bus. And being able to have them there that night, that I think relieved a lot of stress off of the rest of the team that was there. So that was a big deal. And yes, keeping us warm, big deal. We got really, really wet that one day, and we were out there pretty much all day getting rained on, and it really didn't soak in until way later. So we were dry and warm. So that was really cool. And I love my bag, my Prism bag. Oh my gosh. Yes. I love it. I put all my pins on it and all my little keychains and stuff. It's all blinged out. I love it. And it does. It looks really good on the field. Like, I like the way the label's all shiny and stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I think my biggest takeaway
from the whole thing is like, I'm not a competitive person. So for me to go compete, it's not really kind of my bag. But this was really cool. It didn't feel competitive. And I really loved that. It was just, everybody was about sharing knowledge. And I would really like to see that come back this way and get spread around. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from this whole event. And yeah, the team got together really well and it went over really well. And we accomplished some pretty cool things. So I think we did go out there and make everybody proud. Everybody was watching for sure. And yeah, it was pretty freaking awesome.
My turn, huh? Oh boy. Man. Well, to say the trip was pretty profound for me personally is probably an understatement. It was fantastic. I mean, I'm literally sitting here finishing my French wine, or sorry, French water, and like I've never drank wine in my life. So, yeah, it made an impact on me for sure. Um, the way that the team handled themselves, just very professional and clean, as it's been said already. The way we moved and treated other competitors and flyers and supported them as well. While we all are from different countries, we're all kite flyers. We are one. Like we have to take care of each other, and we did that as Team USA. We did that, and that made me very proud just to see the way that we moved out there. Um, I think we did set a new benchmark of professionalism for USA sport kiting, just in general, and we can take that to the fields and kind of pass on that knowledge, if you will, but just pass on, what we learned being together as Team USA. So yeah, that was really cool, and just the support for each other was really awesome. Anytime somebody had anything going on, there was always one or more of us there. What do you need? What can we help you with? Which was incredible, and that went the entire time to the last minute as people were walking out the door. It went all the way, and and I've done a lot of team stuff as well, with different teams and kind of intermingling with other teams. And man, I've never seen something as incredible as we had in France for those days. It was a true unicorn. The fact that there was no drama at all, not a single bit of drama. It just everything flowed well, and everybody was happy to be there and represent our country. And we represented damn well. Everybody, like Paul said, people noticed. Um, they noticed how we moved out there, and a lot of people were coming to our house at night. Whether or not that was for the sportkite.org podcast or not, we'll leave that to be known. But there was just all the countries were at our place like every night. It was new people, and it was just really, really cool that our positive energy was just spreading to others, and they wanted to be part of that, which is really cool. I think we can bring that to the United States as well. Like let's make people part of this and want to be part of this, and that can only grow sport kite skill um, positively. That's going to grow the skill of sport kiting in the United States, strictly because we're going to bring that kind of next level stuff because we were there being pushed by other teams that have been doing this for decades, with a style of flying that we don't typically catch over here unless you're really, really vigilant on YouTube and Vimeo. Like, unless you're really searching for that, we don't come across that style. So it's going to be nice to kind of bring that into the US market, and hopefully bring up the skill level just overall into sport kiting. Um, so yeah, that's great. Um, man, another thing I got out of it: bring more swag. If you go into World Cup, holy crap, you better bring a lot of swag to hand out because man, I came back with a pile. I emptied out an entire like lure case full of pens and stickers and all kinds of stuff. And it's a really, really good way to kind of break the ice because there are so many countries, there's a lot of different languages. So to break the ice, you kind of give them a pen or a sticker or something, and man, they typically are going to have something for you. So there's a lot of trading going back and forth, and that sparks conversations. Just about each other or about the kites that they build or what have you. So you create a lot of connections that way, which was really cool and profound to me. How many connections I developed. There's a lot of people that we see on Facebook and whatnot, but we never really get a chance to meet, and we got to do that, which is really cool personally for me, just to meet a lot of people that I look up to and are highly skilled pilots. But getting into Team USA itself, I could not be more proud of how it worked. To have us be 2,000 miles apart, write a routine with sticks merely months before, um, and meet on the beach in France and throw it down. Within 2 days, we were going through the routine pretty clean. By the fourth day, we like absolutely nailed it. That is freaking unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Uh, and that kind of changed my outlook on how I could write team routines and that kind of thing, and how it can be done. We don't necessarily have to be local to each other. We can help each other out, all people around the country. I've already had people hitting me up and asking about writing routines, that kind of thing. So uh, uh, the ripple effect is already started. It's already started. And that hits me in the heart, man. That means that we did something positive and people want to do it as well, which I think ultimately was the goal of putting together Team USA. We wanted to represent sport kites, represent them well, and represent our country well. And I believe we definitely did that. So cheers to USA. We put together a freaking unicorn of a team. And just one last time for us, Team America.
F
Fuck
yeah!
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Here, here.
Full send.
Full send kite all day long.
And my prism bag worked great. The structural integrity of my buckles was fantastic because I'm not a ham fist.
Yeah.
I just try really hard, okay?
All right. Well, I guess I'll kind of throw one in as the non-flying unofficial member of Team USA. Because I was there both as a support for the team and also as a sponsor of the team and such. I know when I set out to go there, and I had these conversations with all of you, that it was really important that we promote this professionalism and that we put this attitude out there that like people want to follow. Like we need to just show amazingness on that level and good sportsmanship and all this other stuff. And I had no doubt that all of you would do that. Like I knew you guys were all perfectly suited for it. Um, and I think like maybe I had said that in a one-liner. Like it never was a deep conversation. And then I just remember sitting back and watching as like all the other teams and stuff are coming up to you guys and they're wanting to talk to you and they're wanting to hang out. And yeah, Brett, I know you made the joke of we were having like podcast nights because I was doing daily recordings. But honestly, like a lot of the teams were wanting to come over and they just used the podcast as a like, hey, is this an easy way to invite myself because I want to come hang out at Team USA? And it's like, yeah, come on over. And so how many nights we would turn around out of 10 nights of flying and performing, how many nights we turn around and it's like midnight, 1 o'clock, and all of a sudden Team Spain is walking in and Team Canada is walking in and Richard Debray and Team France is walking in. Now the judges are walking in. And all of a sudden we've got 20, 30 people in our tiny little house, right? And they're there because they wanted to soak up like the vibe y'all were putting out. And it was so amazing. And I really, really hope I captured some of that on video so that I can show that back here to the folks in the States. And so, sponsors, you can know that your name was attached to a very, very beautiful, like supportive, amazing community, and everybody saw it and recognized it. And all of the supporters, a big thank you, because you definitely made that possible as well. And going forward, we don't want to kind of give away too much of what we're doing just yet, but I know all the professionalism y'all talked about that you saw or that you exhibited, you're bringing back to the fields here. And you're being like, hey, okay, this is the standard we have now set as Team USA, and we're going to help foster and mentor that in our communities here. We're going to foster this beautiful growth, this like camaraderie, that somehow 8 people can cram into an 800 square foot house with 2 showers, and then a 20 square foot or a 30 square foot beach cabin in the rain, and we still liked each other at the end of 10 days.
We were the only team I saw that after 10 days, on the very final day, we're still having a dance party in the backyard. We had to go
Yeah,
gather
like
other teams, but we started it. I'm just saying.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul, what did you say? You look over at some
Oh,
point and like half a Team USA is walking past the Germans, and then
all I remember from that dance party, and I'm not going to call out Lindsay on this one because I never saw whatever may or may not have happened. Never mind that. Is I see Team USA salsaing by the German house, and the next thing I know, there's 2 shoes being thrown out, followed by a German jumping out of the window to join.
And on that at first they're like, oh no, we're fine, no, and I said, come on out through the window. Like, no, we have a door, they said. And then they're coming out. He's like trying to put on his shoes as fast as he possibly can. He's like trying to dance while putting on shoes. Like that was the vibe that we communicated. I think it's like it was real. We were we communicated a vibe because the vibe was there. And everybody felt it. So
yep. We had dance parties on the beach, like when the Valkyries were flying to Shania Twain's "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." We all got excited, and we're just like cheering them on. And they weren't official competitors; they were there as a demo team. But we got all excited and hyped them up and loved it. And we may have had to use Google Translate to talk back and forth with one another, but it felt so good. It felt really, really good to represent Team USA. All right. So, any last thoughts before we're gonna close this one out? I know we're gonna do future chats. We're gonna have a lot more coming up. The video coming out at some point. More interviews, all that good stuff. So, y'all have any last thoughts?
We can't thank the sponsors enough. I know it helped me tremendously to get over there and whatnot. And thank you, Paul and Waddy, for all you did that week. That's that's a long week, and you had to go to all the meetings and deal with us. Quack quack.
This is entirely our pleasure. Entirely our pleasure.
I just wanted to add in another big thank you to Nick because what you do for the sport kite community is amazing, and we need this so much to grow our community, and everything that you do for social media and getting everything that we did on Team USA out there for people to see, that's just awesome, and we love you and thank you.
Aw,
Yep, we love you,
Yep.
Nick.
thank you,
Not to
Heinz.
mention the archives that go decades deep. You're the only one that does that, and that's amazing. And happy birthday.
Aw, thank
I
you.
need the star thing. I need the this stuffy star thing. What's it called?
Yes, the Patrick
Patrick.
Star. Yeah.
Patrick Star. Okay. Well, I just want to say actually hi to other teams that actually, other
Yes.
yeah, other teams that may actually tune in and watch this because yeah, Nick was, I mean, she was the media for the event basically. Everybody is putting her videos up because she was kind of the official, unofficial photographer and videographer for the event. So yeah, so I want to say hi to all the other teams, and I was really so happy I got to meet so many people. I was a little nervous about that because that was one of the things that, we had to write our little blurb about, what we think about, this event before we went. And I said I was really looking forward to meeting all the other teams. And then somebody said, "Oh, that probably won't happen. People are going to be focused on the competition, and you probably won't have a lot of socializing happening." And I was really sad, but that was not the case at all. We met so many people, and yeah, it was a competition, but it was so much more. It was barely about competition until we got the final numbers and we had to look at them really closely and figure out, like, well, what if we did it this way? And yeah, we did kind of focus on the numbers a little bit after the fact, but while it was going on, it was not about the competition. It was about everything but.
I I will hook into that real quick, Katrina. That was me. I said that,
Yeah.
and I thought that that would potentially be the case, having had a
Mhm.
competitive career for a while, and
Mhm.
maybe that's the biggest, other than being super proud of the team and the interpersonal relationships and the inner workings of how well the team and how well oiled, seemingly effortless the team worked. But it is the camaraderie with the other teams that maybe I wasn't too worried about our team, but
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily expect what happened in the competition. The camaraderie was much more than I've seen at any competition throughout the years, be that in Europe, be that in the States, be that in Asia, where I've had the pleasure to do a competition as well. This was unexpected to me, and I'm happy that I was wrong in my expectation of how the competition was going to be. This is how it should be, I think.
Hmm. Like I said, I made a list of different stuff to talk about, and the very, very first thing on top of that list is camaraderie.
All right then. Well, beautiful job, y'all. And I know we're gonna do another team chat soon. So let's call it a
Good,
night.
because I miss you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell
So
yeah!
cheers with our beautiful
Cheers.
surf volant cups, and then also our Paul's got one. The special. Oh, Paul and Brett have the special Kite Flyers cups. We have our special surf volant cups with all sorts of stickers and everything.
I drank I
Yeah,
drank
mine are
too
cool.
I drank too much of my wine earlier, so I only got to the backspin level. It was
Ooh.
sad.